What's up, guys? I'm JFleezy, and we are back for another episode of Tri-State Wrestling Federation. And boy, I'm ready for it. As you can see, we signed Glenn Jacobs. What we're gonna do with that, I don't really know, but he was there. Anyways, in the last, we had at our season finale a 54 show rating with Big Vito winning the TSWF championship from Dick Knox in a last man standing match for a 53 rating. Leaf Cassidy defeating Perry Saturn in a street fight for a 48. Fletcher Knox defeating Paul Levesque to finally prove his worth on the roster, I guess. Prove he's worthy of being here. However you want to word that. So we had a fantastic show. Hot storylines going in. Hot storylines coming out still. And we'll see where they lead, I guess. Let's get into the first hard knocks of the new season. Also, a quick tidbit, because I completely keep forgetting to tell you guys this. Chris Jericho went off touring with Fozzy. I'm assuming it's Fozzy. 2 months ago. I think he'll be back after this month. I don't know. That's why you haven't seen him. Alright, I remembered. Yay. Alright, here we are. Hard Knocks number 1 of the new season. 139 people here, too. Nice. We have Dick Knox opening the show as always, announcing the main event, taking a couple cheap shots at the new champion Vito, and announcing his opponent for tonight, among other things. We then have our opening match of Taz and Kid Cash having a horrible performance. Interesting. 31. Taz does well, but wow. Taz defeats Kid Cash easily, because obviously. We then have Jeff Jarrett and Paul Levesque talking in the back. Good 3-minute interview. We then have Booker T take on Leaf Cassidy, where Leaf Cassidy just scrapes by with a victory on in an 8-minute match with the snowplow. Very good performance from Cassidy, and Booker T's getting worse again. We then have Booker T, very frustrated, attacking Leaf Cassidy from behind, putting the boots to brother. Good 4-minute angle, apparently, even though it's only a 32. We then have good old Chris Candido taking on Tommy Dreamer in 10-minute match. He finishes him off with the Blonde Bombshell, which, not sure I'm a fan of that name. But here we are. Tommy Dreamer only doing a 34. Chris Candido 47, but a 37 segment rating is pretty decent. Ratings seem to be down on this episode. We then have Dick Knox congratulating Fletcher Knox on his win at Resolution against Paul Levesque. We then have Jeff Jarrett and Paul Levesque calling themselves the Blue Bloods versus the Dynamite Express in a very one-sided match before Jeff Jarrett pins Scott Putski with a pile driver. Very good performance from Jeff Jarrett. About time he does some good around here. We then have Vito Lograsso taking on his first opponent as champion, where he defeats Sean Morley in 10.5 minutes with the Code of Silence once again, breezing through another opponent. I swapped Jeff Jarrett off of Road Agent, and he's still, I don't know. We gotta get that fixed by next episode. Good performance from Vito. We then have Vito in the ring, picking up a microphone and finally doing well, like Vito should be doing. Haunting Dick Knox. Haunting the whole locker room. Can't touch Vito, brother. We then have the Blue Bloods attacking Fletcher Knox in the back. Jeff Jarrett did a poor job putting his own segment together. Love that. 30 segment rating. And in your main event, you have Dick Knox defeating Bill DeMott in 10 minutes with the knocks out to a 59 performance from Dick Knox, a 41 from Bill DeMott, 49 segment rating. Bill DeMott's quite good, huh? Quite good. Meanwhile, Jeff Jarrett's ass. You know, whatever. Great main event. We then have Dick Knox addressing the Blue Bloods attacking Fletcher, not saying you want a problem. Well, you got one next month now. 59 segment rating, by the way. Jeez. To an overall show, that is much higher than I thought it was going to be. To an overall rating of 51. Somebody explained to me how that show was a 51. We had one segment over 51, and it was that final promo. Interesting. Does an angle count as the main event? If you put that in the final spot, it gets scored like the main event does? I would figure it's the last match that gets that bias, that main event bias. How it's scored, right? Like the main event is weighted heavier than other matches. Anyways, great show. Catch you in the next. Alright, before we get into the next show, there's a couple things I wanted to address. For one, you can see in the bottom left here that Chris Jericho is off on tour with his band until October 2nd. So, you guys probably could have seen that this whole time, and I just never addressed it, because I'm a dummy. 2, or the day before the next show, finances, we have so far turned a profit. So far. Although when this show runs, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. We're getting there, we're close. And size, we went up to 9 in that last show. So hey, growth. Yeah, we're excited. I think we're moving into a good place, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, catch you at the show. Alright, Hard Knocks opens with Dick Knox in the ring. Same open as usual, really. Introducing the show, welcoming the crowd, introducing the main event, taking a couple shots at the champion. You know, the usual Dick Knox stuff. Sorry about that. We then have, in our opening match, Sean Waltman and Perry Saturn kind of tearing the house down with a 50 from Sean Waltman, 39 Perry Saturn, 42 segment rating. You have Sean Waltman defeating Perry Saturn in just under 8 minutes with a super kick. Sean Waltman is good, man. We then have the solution of Tommy Dreamer and Taz versus The Law of Brian Lawler and Steve Bradley. I always forget his name. Taz carries the in-ring performance for a segment rating of 36. Taz pulling off a 47. In 10 minutes, I'm assuming Taz submitted Brian Lawler, yeah. What a match. We then have Chris Candido taking on Leif Cassidy in a very good match where he finishes Leif Cassidy with the blonde bombshell after Booker T interferes. And the creative finish was a success, and we're going to tell you what that is right here. So, in my head caning, because you can't really simulate this in the game, so we just had to put an interview after. Booker T the entire match, while Leif Cassidy is wrestling Chris Candido, is on the microphone ringside at commentary, just cutting a promo on him. The entire match. Until he finally goes silent, just for everyone to find out that, oh, he's going silent because he's kicking Leif Cassidy in the head from behind. It's a very Booker T thing to do, too, isn't it? Just sit there and cut a promo on somebody the entire match on the microphone. Fantastic. Alright. Hard to show that one up, but we then have the featured attractions versus Mysterio Jr. and Juventud Guerrera in a fantastic match for a bunch of young rookie guys. And about that, good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, the featured attractions defeat Mysterio Jr. and Juventud in 14 minutes when Stevie Richards pins Juventud with the Stevie kick. Rey Mysterio carries the match, which is hilarious. The 17-year-old carries the match, like, ridiculous. The difference between Rey Mysterio and Juventud, look at that. They're both 17. Rey Mysterio is a 62 performance. Juventud is a 24. Juventud is good. He's good. I mean, Stevie Richards was a great in-ring worker, but Sean Morley is pretty good as well, but 62 from Rey Mysterio is wild. 41 segment rating, fantastic. And I keep trying to click the button and missing. Crazy. Next, we then have Disappointed. Wow, Shane Helms is way worse than I thought he would be. Oh, he was rusty. Okay. So we then have Kid Cash take on Shane Helms and defeat him in under 8 minutes with the Moneymaker. 37 from Kid Cash, 13 from Shane Helms. 32 segment rating. It's fine. 32 is still fine. We then have Misty Blue take on Thundercrack, pinning her with the Misty Dive in under 7 minutes. Thundercrack is not good legit wrestler. Is she? Is she? She was rusty as well. I mean, she's never worked for us. Misty Blue pulls a 32 segment rating out of a girl that did a 7. So, good job, Misty. We then have Vito Lograsso take on another rusty wrestler in Tarek the Great, finishing him in 8 minutes with the Code of Silence with absolute ease, making defense number 2 of the TSWF Championship. Vito is working the entire locker room right now. Vito grabbed the mic and I guess failed miserably, but just taunt like, yo, here we are again. Send another one down. And in your promised main event, we have the Knox family of Dick Knox and Fletcher Knox versus the Blue Bloods. Not the Blue Buds, the Blue Bloods. Dick Knox pins Jeff Jarrett with a knocks out in 20 and a half minutes. 43 segment rating. I legit thought this would be better. I wish my speaking was better. I legit thought this would be better. We have Vito ringside for this on commentary as well. I knew Fletcher Knox would have probably a below 20 performance, but I thought the rest could carry a little higher because, you know, we do have Dick Knox with a 55. Paul Levesque still only doing a 22, barely better than Fletcher Knox. It's disappointing. But Jeff Jarrett also doing a 40 in this match. Dick Knox, Fletcher Knox, excellent chemistry as well. But 43 is fine. I'm not mad about it. Good match, good storyline, heat, good stuff. Also, it's the first time that the Knoxes got the tag team as well. And that is the finish. To an overall rating of 44, which is not bad. Again, weird that it's a 44. I don't know what's boosting us up. I guess the wide selection of angles. Because we had a 47 angle to open, and then a 46 match here in the main event of 43. The rest of the show, semi-disappointing. In front of 110 fans, because I did move ticket prices back to normal. Popularity is a little different than in games past, huh? It seems a little... I don't know, I can't predict it sometimes. Alright, that's the show. Catch you at the next one. Alright, quick little update. Finance-wise, we lost 123 last month. So, I think we're good. I think we're going to be bringing this back pretty quickly here. So, we're good. I'm happy with that. It was looking a little concerning for a minute, but I think we're good. And one other world news here. We have LPWA, which is Ladies Professional Wrestling Association in the Great Lakes. They're going under. Like, they're going under. It's over. They're $250,000 in debt. They're done for. So, say goodbye to them. Alright, on to the show then. Alright, here we go. Final show of the episode. We have Dick Knox opening the show once more, welcoming the crowd, introducing the main event, and the title match for the night. And for some reason, Steve Bradley's in there. That's not who was supposed to be in there. Good job, Booker. Anyways, moving on. 52 segment rated, by the way. Even with my mistake. Opening match. Yes, opening match of the night. Taz takes on Chris Canyon in another great performance for Taz, defeating Chris Canyon in 8 minutes with the overhead belly suplex. Then we have a promo in the back from the Blue Bloods once again, talking trash about little pipsqueak Fletcher Knox. Same old stuff, same old biz. You know what it is. Nepotism at its finest, right? Kid don't belong here. Companies for real men, like them, for Blue Bloods. In about that had good wrestling, but didn't have much heat. Robbie V defeats Psychosis in 10 minutes with a spinning heel kick, which I love that being one of his finishes. Psychosis debuts with an awful gimmick. Love that. Love that. He's rusty and we still get a 38 out of it. Psychosis is pretty good, huh? We then have Fletcher Knox taking on Jim McPherson, and after finishing him with a Knox lock after a botched attempt at interference from Paul Levesque. We're getting better. 16, getting better. 23 segment rating. We're getting there. 19-year-old kid. He'll get there. We then have Kid Cash coming to the ring with a monster, apparently, he found somewhere. Jacobs and Cash, Glenn Jacobs. Jacobs and Cash defeat the Dynamite Express in 7 minutes 53 seconds when Glenn Jacobs pins Scott Putski with a choke slam. 22 from Glenn Jacobs. Surprisingly better than I thought it would be. Alright. Great gimmick as well. 29 segment rating. Good debut. We then have Booker T cutting a promo all the way down to the ring before his match. And in a fantastic match, we have Leif Cassidy versus Chris Candido versus Booker T. A result of the happenings of last week, where Leif Cassidy defeats Chris Candido and Booker T in a triple threat match. 15 minutes when Leif Cassidy pins Chris Candido with a snowplow. What a match. Good job, Leif Cassidy. Chris Candido is an animal. He is really good. Booker's getting better. I say he's getting better, and then next week he's going to be bad again. It's like his consistency is a negative 15. It's crazy. Also, if I haven't mentioned it yet, because I'm not sure if I have, I put Booker T on color commentary. Because he's really good at it, and quite frankly, I love Booker T commentary. And it just gets him on the show when he's not wrestling, and when he's wrestling, I'm paying a commentator and a wrestler, just one payment. So, it works out in every way. Because, let's be honest, Booker T on commentary is fantastic. Maybe I should add Taz with him. We can have some really good commentary. Alright, superb wrestling match. So, 46 segment rating. Good job, guys. We then have Booker T and Chris Candido putting the boots to Leif Cassidy. Because how dare him win the match against him. Very heel shit, brother. Wow, okay. And in our championship bout of the night, Dick Knox sends another, and Vito puts another down. Vito defeats Stevie Richards in 10 minutes with Code of Silence. Defense number 3, and Stevie Richards and Vito do a good job here, with Vito being off his game in a 41 segment. Good job. Vito's really starting to come into his own in the ring as well. His mic game's getting a little better. Sometimes he performs, sometimes he doesn't. It's a little inconsistent, but he's getting the good ones in now. It was not just bad every time. Speaking of, there it is. We have Big Vito with the microphone in his hand, like, come on, boss. Like, I need a real challenge. Give me something worth fighting. 40 segment rating. Good job, Big Vito Lograsso. And in your main event of the night, we have Dick Knox versus Perry Saturn in a 10-minute match where Dick Knox finishes Saturn with the knocks out. A short arm lariat, by the way. That's what that is. A short arm lariat. Dick Knox with a 56, Perry Saturn 43, 48 segment rating. A very good end to the night. And the show's really kicking on, isn't it? It's really kicking on. Overall rating 50. It's looking good around here. This is out without Mysterio on. This is without... my Chris Jericho isn't going to be... He's not the greatest when it comes to all that. This is without Sean Waltman. There's some big-time, like, workers not on the show here. Arguably, my two best, and Sean Waltman and Rey Mysterio are not on this card, and we pull off a 50. With all pretty decent matches. Very happy with it. I'll catch y'all in the office. Alright, here we are back in the office, and honestly, good news. Just click right there. Straight after the show, we have lost $55. So, by the end of the month, like simming through, we will probably make a profit. By the end of the month, I think sponsorship, maybe even merchandise a little bit, will make up for that. I think we're going to actually turn a profit. and I think going forward, we're generally going to start turning a profit here soon. So, very good news there. As for the rest of the episode, great shows. Very happy with it. I think we're really starting to kick off now. Really moving forward, the company's looking pretty good. I appreciate y'all. If you enjoyed what you watched, please leave a like, as I gotta feed that hungry YouTube monster. If you love this series, or my other series for that matter, make sure to hit the subscribe so you never miss an episode, because sometimes they don't come out regularly. Father 3, tough to do. Don't get a lot of time that's quiet to record. So, like button, hit the bell so you get notified when they come out, and I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your days. Rise once more. War scars can't close our door.